Good afternoon, Internet. It is once again me. My name is Chase, and I am a science fiction author. I've published the opening act of my Descendant saga series called The Descendant, which is available on Amazon. And this you are watching is Grinding Gears, where I play video games on the internet with some friends. I'm driving a truck around, bringing them ammo, because I'm a filthy casual and can't shoot good, but they can. So, while I'm grinding gears here, I'm going to talk about some of the small details in the writing and publishing process and community and so on that most people wouldn't think about or realize that bother me. Sometimes they bother me more than they should, but they do. Maybe I have something like CDO. It's like OCD, but in alphabetical order. Or, maybe they're just hot takes, because I'm an eccentric author, and want things my way. So, today's topic is spell check. I'm old-fashioned, and I still write with Microsoft Word, which, as everyone knows, has a built-in spell check program. I also have the free version of Grammarly, which, is a downloadable editing software. And I'm not saying Grammarly is bad or good. I'm not saying spell check is bad or good. They're both good at different things. And admittedly, for being a writer, I'm not a fantastic speller. And that's part of why I use both, in addition to, rereading and multiple drafts and beta readers and editors. And there's a lot of layers to try and take out as many and every possible error before the book actually goes into print. That's not the point. Both spell check and Grammarly will flag different things. They don't use the same grammar, and it drives me nuts. If you go through it, there's a little bit of ammo for this fob that no one's at. But if someone is at it, they can at least use it. I get back out through the trees, four-wheeling over this rock. Big bumps. So, for example, we've got hyphens. Hyphens happen a lot. There's a lot of hyphenated words.
Is it not letting you? You should be able to drop them. You should be good. There you go.
You're interrupting my chat here, sir.
Hey, if you're okay with bringing back more, that'd be sweet.
So, there's a lot of hyphenated words, and the spell checker in Microsoft Word doesn't use that as much, but Grammarly wants me to hyphenate all kinds of stuff. So, I go through Grammarly and I select this and this and this, and, I've ticked off 130 things, and they're all, completed. They're all fixed. And Grammarly is no longer flagging them as problems. And I close Grammarly and you go back to the Microsoft Word spell checker. And 40 of those 130 things I just fixed are wrong according to Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
So it's impossible
Super sweet.
to make both happy. You can't have 0 errors on Grammarly and Microsoft spell checker at the same time. And I'm slowly learning to get over it and ignore it. But it still drives me nuts. It gets under my skin. And I hate it. I still use Grammarly as much as, the induced errors bother me, and as many times as we disagree. There's a tank. I'm not going to hit the road because it's a lot shorter. If I can get between the trees without getting stuck. It's a lot shorter to get back to base and pick up more supplies without going to the road. As I was saying, before I got distracted.
That, teacher's left.
Grammarly catches a lot of errors that Microsoft Word doesn't catch, and Microsoft Word catches a lot of errors that Grammarly doesn't catch. And by going slower and taking my time and rereading everything I have written manually myself, and then independently approving or disproving of each and every error according to Grammarly, and then again according to the spell checker that's built into Microsoft Word, you eventually come to some sort of equilibrium. But, with the published book, The Descendant, if you go buy a copy on Amazon, the Kindle version I think is $2.99 and the paperback is $11.99. If you go buy a copy on Amazon and read it, that is draft number 14. I went through 7 drafts with just me and help from one of my beta readers before it ever got to the publisher. I need that box so I can put more ammo in my truck. And then, after those 7 drafts and the publishing contract and professional editors and all that, so what finally got printed was draft number 14. And just flipping through the paperback, there are still things that I find that I want to change. Like, I shouldn't have put a comma there, or that should have been a semicolon, not a period, and so on. So no matter how many times you reread your book, no matter how many drafts and edits you go through, it will never be perfect. There is no such thing as perfect. And you eventually have to concede to the fact that it is good enough. Your work is good enough. Your writing is good enough. And no one standard is going to be perfect. Not Grammarly, not the spell checker in Microsoft Word, not my, grammar Nazi of a grandmother being a beta reader, not the professional editor, not myself. No one is going to be 100% satisfied. And eventually, you just have to go with it. I'm keep driving my supplies, because half truck will travel. Stay reading, stay scientific, stay tactical.